Greetings everybody, my name is Great British Geek and I'm here with another video, as you can tell. Now, really quickly, I know ooh, dogs in every video. I know I said that content would get slower, and in actuality it got faster. It probably is going to get slower by now. I'm recording this on Tuesday and my exams start on Monday, so you can kind of see how it gets slower. I'll try and record a video on study leave. I might get a chance to do a vlog on Saturday. If not, I'm sorry. I'll definitely do a video at the end of my study leave and then I'll be off for a couple of weeks. So content will get a lot faster after the 27th. Anyway, I will shut up now and get on with the video. So this video is 10 things every cosplayer should take with them to a Comic-Con. I've been to plenty of conventions in my time and I've usually learnt the hard way about things you should take with you, and this isn't going to be about things you should just take to Comic-Con as general. This is going to be specifically for people who are dressing up at conventions. You can even use this outside if you're just going to photo shoots or events, but whatever. I'm going to stop talking. I'm also going to eat a yogurt, excuse me. I want to eat a yogurt while doing this video, because try and stop me. Oh, it's gone everywhere. Number one is a bag. Now you're probably thinking, oh, this one seems a bit obvious, but trust me, you should always take a bag to a con. Even if you kind of think, you know, I'm just kind of going to dress up and see people, I would always recommend taking a bag, because the following items I'm going to list, you're going to need and you're going to need to keep in the bag. So a bag, obvious one, but take one. Whether it's a rucksack, whether it's a tiny little bag, or a fucking suitcase, just always take a bag. So, what should you put in the bag? Well, one thing I recommend would be food and drink. Now, yeah, you can buy food at Comic-Con, but the thing is, Comic-Cons are going to charge you for food, and they're probably not going to charge you a necessarily cheap price, so my recommendation would be to take your own food and drink. In my experience, I've never really eaten that much at Comic-Con. I don't know whether it's just because I get overly excited and I'm like, oh my god, look at that, oh my god, but I definitely drink a lot, and I really don't think it's worth going and buying a lot for like a sandwich when you can just bring little snacks from home and keep it in a bag. And also, a lot of people are going to be buying food at the same time and it can be quite hard to jump the queue. So I just recommend bringing your own food. It's what the majority of people do, so food and drink. The next thing I reckon you should bring, and this doesn't really apply to everyone, but in my experience I've needed it, and that is makeup. This is my little makeup bag. It's horrible. But when I cosplay as Columbia from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I've spoken as briefly, I'll be cosplaying as her again on Saturday. I'll put a photo here in this area. If I forget, you kind of have the right to unsubscribe, like right now. So editing me should put a photo in. But when I cosplay as Columbia, there is a lot of makeup involved, as I'm sure you know if you've seen the Rocky Horror Show or the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I need to take a makeup bag with me because I'm the kind of person, I never really wear makeup on a daily basis, and I easily forget I'm wearing makeup, so I'm always the person that like wipes my eyes or does stupid, and I've got like all my eyebrows are just like going down my cheeks, and I think I just swore in sign language when I did that. Is that not shit in sign language? Tell me. So if you are cosplaying as someone with a lot of makeup, whether that be body paint or just facial makeup, always take your makeup bag with you, because regardless of whether you're wiping your face or bumping into people, you're probably going to need to give your makeup a touch up at some point. I don't think I've ever gone out in a cosplay that involves makeup and not needed to touch it up. The next one again won't apply to everyone, and it may be a little dangerous in some cases, but you may need it. I can't talk because I've got my dog down here and she's distracting me, I'm sorry. But that is a needle and thread. Now, I don't have one of these, so far I've never needed one, but I know a lot of people who have made their own cosplays or bought their own cosplays and they've had a rip. As far as I'm aware, I've had rips in my cosplays. My Spider-Man cosplay, I'll insert a photo here. My Spider-Man cosplay ripped the first day I wore it. Luckily, it didn't rip when I was like outside wearing it. It was when I tried it on here that it ripped like right up the ass crack. It was horrible. I had to take it and get it sewn by my grandparents because I can't sew. But if you can, take like a needle and thread in you with a pot just in case something rips, because I mean, it can just be annoying for you, it can look a bit weird, but if it rips in like an embarrassing place, the last thing you probably want is to be walking around with a big hole showing off your ass crack or something, so needle and thread. The next one is a coat. Always take a coat. In my experience, well, what's always happened to me is that when I've cosplayed, I've gone to a convention, I've been on the train or in the car, whatever, and I've, like, so when I go to the NEC at Birmingham Comic Con, you wait for the shuttle buses, you're absolutely freezing. But when you're actually in the arena, it's normally quite warm, but I cannot tell you the amount of times I've come out of a convention at like 5 o'clock, like November was the worst, because obviously it was dark and it was raining, and I was dressed in my Columbia costume, so I had bugger all on. I was absolutely freezing, and I had a coat, but I was still cold. So I hate to think of what it would be like if you go out in a cosplay, revealing or not, and you're cold without a coat. Like, even my first cosplay, MCM Birmingham in March, when it was slightly warmer, in Arnold Rimmer cosplay, so fully clothed, I was still absolutely freezing. So always bring a coat, which you can keep in your bag. See? It's linking. I really hate myself right now. This next one kind of links to a coat, and it is a change of clothes. Now, these aren't always necessary. It depends on what you're going to, where you're going, or what you're going as. But when I went to see the Rocky Horror Show... She's so rude. As I was saying, when I went to go and see the Rocky Horror Show for the first time, it was January, obviously dressed up as Columbia, and we were coming back, we were in Birmingham New Street, and the train was delayed, obviously. And so I was stood there in this drag, I was really, really cold, and I had a change of clothes because I'd come straight from college, and I just thought, you know what, I'll get changed because this outfit they're not proper clothes and they're very cold, it was still winter, and I really didn't want to get on the train at like 9 o'clock at night in sparkly gold drag. So if you feel that you may have a situation like that, or if you perhaps don't want to take public transport in your cosplay, then just take a change of clothes. Like, you've already got your coat, so just take a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and you'll be fine. And this next one links to the previous one. I'm so clever. Not really. You know, my teachers will tell you not really. What was that? This is a pair of comfy shoes. Now, once again, Columbia cosplay. I'm so scared I'm not going to edit these images in, or I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to look like a tit. But my Columbia cosplay, the first time I wore it at a convention, November Comic Con in Birmingham, last year. Last year? Yeah, last year. I obviously wore heels. I didn't have like a pair of small heels or a pair of tap shoes like in the film, so I borrowed a pair of my friend's heels, and I don't wear them very often, and I was fine for like the 6 or so hours I was there, but I can remember taking them off and my ankles did really hurt, and I kind of wish that I'd had like a pair of Converse or trainers with me just to change into on our way out. And I've met a lot of people who have worn heels and like had to take them off because they physically couldn't carry on and they didn't have a pair of shoes with them. So always just try and slip in like a pair of trainers, or if you want to maybe find a pair of shoes that look similar or would look good with your character and are still comfy, even better. But I recommend a change of shoes, and this is why I also recommend that the bag that you bring should kind of be a rucksack, because at least then you can fold things and you still have room for anything you might buy. In terms of your bag, I also recommend bringing a friend. Now, a friend can be used for confidence, especially if you're cosplaying, regardless of whether they are or not. If they are, makes you feel a bit better because you're not the only one, even though when you go to a Comic-Con you definitely will not be the only one. I think it can be a bit more daunting when you're actually going there and you're not with anyone else. But if you also have a friend, confidence, if you get lost you're not on your own type thing. But the best thing about having a friend, especially if they're not cosplaying, is they can carry the bag. And I'm so cruel, but you probably saw this in the Harley Quinn photo shoot vlog I did with my friends. My 4 friends, Chloe and Tyler, were the ones who had to carry the bags while my friend Katie was taking photos of me. Now, I'm usually happy to carry my bags around a convention, especially because it's my shit in there, it's my clothes, my shoes, whatever. But there's that part of me that kind of thinks, you know what, it does kind of ruin the look a little bit, so if you can bring a friend who's willing to carry the bags, that is great. Obviously invite them because they want to come or you want them to come. Don't just say, hey, I'm going to Comic-Con, but I really need you to carry my bag. Like, that's just rude, you know. Just invite them because they're your friend, but if you can get them to carry the bag at the same time, you've got a winner there. I'd recommend also bringing a camera. This one's slightly less for cosplayers. Like, this is kind of more in general, but I've never met a cosplayer who didn't want photos of themselves in their cosplay, and Comic-Con can be a great place for this because not only can you get yourself in cosplay with other characters or other characters from the same fandom or whatever your character's from, but often these conventions can have good settings for like professional looking photos or just sort of singular photos. So I'd always recommend bringing a camera, or, you know, my friend Katie, she's like my photographer and I love her for that, like, oh. So yeah, bring a camera. This one was short, but bring a camera. I got another one of these over there, I haven't eaten it yet. I'm only eating these because I just never get enough calcium. And even though it's summer, it's not exactly sunny outside. It might look it with that bit of light coming through the curtain, but trust me, it's raining out there. And finally, I think one of the most important things to bring to a Comic-Con is a happy attitude. Now, I know it's not a physical thing, but hear me out. If you're cosplaying, it's very, very likely that people are going to want to have their photo taken with you. And I've never actually met a cosplayer who hasn't want their photo taken with you. But I think it's very important to be aware of other people, because I know cosplayers never consent for anything. But I also just think that people around you are going to want to interact with you, and I understand, you know, you're your own person, you might be a bit grumpy, something might have happened, but it's kind of really hard to say this without sounding judgmental or being a dick, because I've never met anyone like this, but I think a happy attitude is always good to have, because you're talking a few thousand people all coming together, everyone's trying to do their own thing, so you've got to remember that when people are talking to you, but also when you're talking to other people, because, you know, not everyone's really nice. You might meet an asshole at a Comic-Con, you might have met an asshole, but I just think if you can go to a convention, regardless of whether, you know, even if you're not cosplaying, if you can be positive about everything and everyone around you, then automatically, you know, you've just won at the Comic-Con and cosplay game. So I just think it is always best to stay positive, not only about things around you, but be positive about yourself. I touched on this very briefly in my first video, my really bad video about cosplay tips. Cosplaying can be really daunting. Like, it really is a passion of mine, and I am in no way a socially confident person. I can barely talk to my family without having a panic attack, but if you can just put on a cosplay and just look at yourself and be proud of what you're doing, regardless of how good your cosplay is or how confident you feel, if you can be positive, happy and proud of yourself as well as everything around you, then I can guarantee you, you're gonna have a good time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you think I've forgotten anything, please leave them in the comments below. Tell me any of your cosplay stories, because I will definitely be doing more on this, because I haven't been to any conventions this year, but I've got two. I've got one in Gloucester, and I've got in October, and one in Birmingham in November. So I'll definitely be doing more videos about cosplay, maybe even some vlogs. I don't know, I'll do whatever, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Is that you start writing and the invigilator just like peering over your desk, like practically breathing down your neck, like they're going, fail, and just personal space, please, invigilators. And I always feel like they're just looking over you, like this, looking over nice and singing that bit. Just got a question.